In Dead by Daylight, there are hundreds of perks to choose from. Because of the vast variety and synergetic nature of some perks, most experience nerfs and reworks to better fit in with the current state of the game. An example would be the Buckle Up rework, which removed its strong synergy with For the People. However, one perk that stands out among the rest is Will Make It, as it's one of the only perks that have barely been touched since launch. Why was this perk never changed? And is it really balanced, or has it always needed a rework? To answer that, let's go all the way back to launch. Will Make It is one of the original Survivor perks, introduced all the way back in June 2016. At launch, the perk was extremely strong. You gained a healing speed boost of 100% per unhooked survivor, meaning it's stacked with the amount of survivors you rescued, on top of stacking with other healing speed perks. They did limit the stackable healing speed to 300%, but that left two major issues. The healing speed boost lasted for a whole 2 minutes, and worked with self-healing perks like Self-Care. Needless to say, it was vastly more effective than behavior had anticipated. 2 weeks after launch, in the second patch ever of the game, the perk would receive huge nerfs. The healing was no longer stackable, the time reduced to 1.5 minutes, and the perk would no longer work on self-healing. While it's common for perks to launch overly strong and be tuned down in future patches, what makes this case peculiar is that this is the exact state of the perk to this day. Granted, there were some minor changes like buffing lower levels of the perk, and slight contextual changes like perk descriptions and a visual cue, but nothing that changes the core functions of the perk. With the addition of other perks over time, such as Botany Knowledge, Empathic Connection, and Desperate Measures that all synergize extremely well with Will Make It, it's surprising to see the perk fully retain its strength and versatility. I think this is caused by the main playstyle the perk encourages. To better understand the gameplay around the perk, let's first analyze the benefits of using it. The first and most obvious benefit of Will Make It is that you can quickly heal up a survivor after unhooking them. This means you're wasting less time on healing and can focus on repairing generators. In many cases, you're also able to finish the heal even if the killer decides to come back to hook, which is incredibly useful as the killer now needs 2 hits to down the rescued survivor. Because the perk lasts for 90 seconds post unhook, you can also use it to heal other injured teammates, keeping everyone healthy and reducing the killer's pressure. Thanks to the speed at which you can heal, you're also way less likely to be interrupted by the killer mid-heal. With perks that apply hemorrhage, such as Gift of Pain, becoming more common, finishing that heal is even more important, as any healing progression will be lost if the survivor is not fully healed. This is also where the perk's versatility shines, as it stacks with other healing perks like Botany Knowledge for an even faster heal. Because there is no perk or scenario that conflicts with Will Make It, it's extremely adaptable and works in basically any build. Will Make It is a perk that suits every match. Its strength simply varies depending on how many survivors are injured or hooked throughout the match. Another reason Will Make It is such an effective perk is its accessibility. The perk has one of the simplest activation conditions in the game: simply unhook a teammate. This is incredibly straightforward and makes the perk easy to pick up for beginners. Yet, the perk also rewards more experienced players who can assess the situation and decide if they have enough time to complete a heal before the killer returns, or if they should wait and play more cautiously. Will Make It also serves as an amazing anti-snowball perk. If you're unfamiliar with snowballing, it basically means that the more pressure the killer has, see more injured survivors or more hook stages, the more likely the killer is to build more pressure, in the same way a snowball grows the more it rolls. Will Make It is great at preventing the killer from building up pressure, as any extra hits on survivors can almost instantly be healed up, preventing situations where multiple injured teammates make it easy for the killer to gain control. It also helps countering common tactics like camping by allowing survivors to body block without giving the killer too much pressure. With all that in mind, Will Make It is an amazing support perk that encourages altruism, helps keep the team healthy, reduces killer pressure, and allows your teammates to body block freely. Add Botany Knowledge and Empathic Connection to the mix, and an experienced team becomes unstoppable. So, with its undeniable strength, why hasn't the perk been nerfed yet? Well, one of the reasons can be attributed to the counter perks. Killers can use perks like Sloppy Butcher and Gift of Pain that add Mangled and Hemorrhage status effects, which makes the healing 25% slower and erases any healing progress if the heal is interrupted. There is also Forced Penance that directly punishes body blockers by applying the Broken status effect, which makes it impossible for them to be healed for a significant amount of time, further reducing Will Make It's effectiveness. That's not to mention killers like the Plague that prevent you from healing altogether. Hey there, it's me from the future. While editing this, I realized that the supposed counter perks aren't really that much of counters. Because hemorrhage depends on interrupting the heal, reducing the healing time actually counters those perks more than the hemorrhage counters healing. So Forced Penance is the only real counter perk I can think of. There is Leverage, which does cancel out Will Make It, but it does only last for a third of the time, so it's not really a counter. Feel free to drop a comment below though if I missed a perk. A second reason is that the perk's strength is largely based on how much pressure the killer has. If the survivors are already doing well, barely being hit or hooked, Will Make It basically has no effect. Sure, saving a little time on initially healing a survivor after unhooking them is useful, but the true strength of the perk comes when multiple survivors are injured or forced to body block. This means the perk evens out the game, without ever overpowering the killer. Another reason is how Will Make It never was deemed to contribute to unhealthy gameplay. Perks like Decisive Strike have always been infamous for this, as they can be used in unfair ways to bully the killer. These perks have consequently been changed and nerfed a bunch of times, making them weaker and weaker. Because Will Make It never directly contributed to these kinds of disruptive tactics, it was never touched by the development team. Finally, the biggest reason why Will Make It was never changed is that its effects are largely invisible to the killer. Will Make It provides a valuable healing speed boost, but killers rarely notice its influence as the healing isn't done in front of them. Subsequently, if a killer feels overpowered by a team, they're more likely to blame other perks like Decisive Strike or Off the Record, which are visually impactful, rather than attributing it to Will Make It. This combination of strong and unobtrusive power has allowed the perk to fly under the radar and remain unchanged. While Will Make It provides survivors with a significant advantage when at a disadvantage, its effects remain subtle and balanced. Its quiet strength, versatility, and fair counterplay have all contributed to its longevity and lack of changes. In the end, Will Make It stands out as a perfect example of balanced perk design. It's simple, yet powerful, but varies in strength depending on how much pressure the killer has. This allows it to stay strong and relevant, while simultaneously staying balanced and avoiding nerfs. Its simplicity and synergy makes it a staple perk for supporting teammates. Surviving unchanged for 8 years proves that sometimes behavior can release balanced perks. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them below. And if you enjoy this style of content, consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a fantastic day.